Okay. Check. Yo, so basically what I'm setting up right now, guys, is I hate GA4, which is a vanity URL that I own. I don't want to show my back end and everything that we've got going on in here. So there's quite a bit to talk about. Give me just one moment. Okay, I got to switch to DNS here. And now I can redirect. Okay. It's not letting me save here. For some reason. There it goes. Okay, now I can share this with you guys. I'm building this a basic post. I gotta figure out a way to share my screen quickly with hotkeys. Well, for now, we're just gonna do this. There you go. Okay, so just writing a post real quick. You know, anyone with a new GA4 property, it can be daunting to make all the configuration decisions needed with confidence. right, so I've got a GA4 playing into people's disdain. That's not the word I'm looking for. Their frustration. Frustration's real. I get it. Let's see if I don't know if I'm gonna flip here live, but I've already made the redirect. If you know anyone with a new GA4 property, it can be daunting to make all the configuration decisions. A positive, many marketers, positive that, I'm working on my copywriting, y'all. Many marketers have pretty much given up on the tool due to that alone. Those with frustration because we've been through it. Team knows the frustration because we've been through it many times while setting up several GA4 accounts. But now I need to see, if I was a beta user, when was GA4 first released? It's 2020. Now I want to do like a shine ranker type of asset with a wrestler. I'm actually going to reach out to So I sent that up for him. I can use this copy more than once. I can do something else here for get an audit. I know you guys can see my account. I've got a couple of different images for auditing. This one feels like more like professional though, you know. I think I'm gonna stick with that. Get an audit. And we'll post this. Okay, so there's the why. Essentially, I'm going to be. I hate GA4. Let's see if it works. I just need it to work. I'm gonna have to wrestle a little bit. There we go. Thank you, Grammarly. This is not a Grammarly commercial. All right, let's go that way. I'll do the hate, like mad emoji. So you guys are gonna watch me do some marketing real quick. Sorry about that. It is what it is. But then if I jump over to tools, let's see if we can get ShineRanker to work today. I love this tool. The reliability though is leaving quite a bit to be desired. It could be that I need to update Chrome. It could be that I need to create an incognito tab. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so I'm back. Get my music going again. Let's see if I can. They're gonna let me get away with an emoji in here. Yep. Okay, my mic is back too. Cool. All right, so I hate GA4.com site. I'm going to experiment with this to try to see if this cracks the code. Definitely feel like there's a lot of people who are upset and don't want to deal with tracking in general, but especially GA4, which is fine. Trying to play towards that frustration instead of run away from it. And if you guys have studied copywriting, Dan Kennedy sells stuff. They say that, people make changes when there's pain points to address. So this is GA4 is definitely a pain point for a lot. Just conversion tracking in general is a pain point. Okay. I'm going to show you guys Shine Ranker today and kind of walk through what I'm going to try to do there. Got some ideas. So what I had to do here is I opened up an incognito browser, logged into the tool. Now I'm about to go clear the cache so I can try to make these images. I just want to get something like a dinosaur that's extinct. My first idea. Extinct T-Rex fossil. I don't know. Let's just go. Skeleton fossil. I don't know if there's a better way to say that. They've also said that the tool works really well with Microsoft Edge, I believe it is. I've never used Edge before, but I might download it just to give it a shot. Really funny because I've learned that certain tools, will allow you to do things that you can't otherwise do. So they're still creating script, creating audio. Looks like it might work. Usually it gets to like the 44% mark, and then I'll be able to tell if it's going to be a winner for us or not. These others that I created actually did really well. Get rid of this one. So you guys might have seen this race car shine ranker. Let me see if I can play the commercial for you real quick. That'll be good. Let me just do that because then you'll be able to actually hear it and see it. One moment. It's a little bit of a hassle because I've got to go upload it. Maybe that's something I'll have my team do over the weekend, is upload all this stuff. As you probably picked up from watching me on other live streams, I enjoy just running and gunning, kind of figuring it out, you know. This one. Find another clip. I got this race car clip, and then there's another race car clip. This one. So you guys will be able to see both of these.
GA4 is a lot like tuning a Formula One race car. Here's why.
Simple, right? Well, 5 seconds.
GA4 is a lot like tuning a Formula One race car. Here's why. GA4 is a race car. The proper setup will get you the best results. Welcome to the world of GA4, the race car that redefines the ultimate tracking experience.
I love it. I love the fact that we've been able to create these little quick, lighthearted, cartoony assets for the team. Now pretty much I got to figure out if, see, this didn't work. Accuracy is on. Video may take longer if the accuracy it's not on. So no custom voice, no custom script. That makes me think that it's the browser. So let me download Microsoft Edge real quick. Wait a minute. Yeah, I got the Apple silicone. Let's go here. This one. Gotta do what you gotta do, right? Tired of waiting as well. I waited for a long time to just have someone else solve it for me on the team. Not to badmouth my team either. That, you know, everybody's good at what they're good at. But what I've learned as a business person, as an owner, as the main guy who's in charge, pretty much, HNIC, got to get your hands dirty. There's no such thing as just being able to sit back and not deal with some of these things. So while that's downloading, I'll run another commercial. Try to find the ones that are.
Are you struggling to pinpoint your target audience for your ads? Look no further, as Google Analytics 4 is here to save the day. With this powerful tool, you can build laser-focused audiences based on your website visitors' behavior. Imagine having the ability to group your audience by their interests, browsing habits, and demographics. With Google Analytics 4, you can do just that. You can even create audiences based on specific events or actions taken on your website. So why wait? Harness the power of Google Analytics 4 today and start creating highly targeted audiences for your ads.
Big shout out to Paulo. He created that ad that you just watched. It's basically, we have a funnel. We go from a couple of different tools: Emotion Array, Fleeky, Shine Ranker. He uses, I want to say, It's not called DaVinci, it's called something else, I think. But we've used, we got editors that use CapCut, and we've been piecing together these assets in order to explain the beautiful world of tracking. So I'm going to jump back. And I think today I want to show you guys the Shopify demo store. I think it's helpful for people to see that. So let's see if I can find it over here. GA4 BHP test is what I called it. And I have to just switch screens. One moment. Okay, here we are, BHP test. So the cool thing that we did here is my Shopify allows me to build events and everything here. But as you guys probably already know, if you go to set up a new tag manager container, or you log into an old situation and you go into the new tag section, you're going to notice that this is organized a little bit differently. Some people are even saying that it's more confusing now. It's tomato for me. Doesn't really matter. But you'll see this G tag, Google tag, instead of what used to be a Google Analytics GA4 configuration tag that you would set up. Instead, you just use the Google tag. Now, the reason this is significant and interesting for me is if I go to the data stream inside of GA4 and we just kind of take a look around, if I jump over to the configure tag settings, notice, keep up with me here, please. This is one of the most interesting pieces. So I have the tag ID itself here, and then the measurement ID for GA4 in this instance here. There's also the ability to connect and configure domains. Let me see, it's not that one. As soon as I go to show you, of course, having issues finding it. Let me find out where it's at. One sec. It should be configured. Connected site tags, maybe. I want to read this. I haven't read this yet. Let's read this about the Google tag itself. So it's a single tag you put on your website, use a variety of Google products and services. The coolest thing that I wanted to show you guys is that you can connect one tag to multiple analytics properties. You can connect it to Google Ads properties. I'm doing it in an account, but it's a client account, so I don't want to show you. So I'm trying to set it up in my test account here live, but there's different destinations is what I'm trying to get at. Let's see if this is it. I'm sorry, the connection here is pretty spotty. Destination looks like this. So you have the tag, and then it's got this line, and it'll have a destination for GA4 or Google Ads. That's Google Ads logo, in case you didn't know. So you're going to have a W dash, which is Google Ads destination naming convention, or G dash. I'd imagine you can't send one tag information to another tag. Instead, you have the option to combine tags, which is also a thing. But you guys are going to see me talk about this extensively. I think it's a really interesting topic. Actually, I'm going to send this over to my team so that we add this to the playbook as a separate section. So you're going to see inside of our GA4 playbook, you'll see a Google tag section that has every last one of these inserted. Then I'll go and hunt down all of the YouTube videos associated with each topic, as well as the courses from the course providers that I currently have access to. So let's do this real quick. Send this over to G. I might have a separate playbook and then just add this to both of them, because technically GTag is going to be affecting Google Tag Manager more as a starting point. So imagine, this is how I look at it, at least. Google Tag Manager is the central focus. Let me make sure you guys can see this. This is central focus is the place where you want to build everything out, get the most out of your GA4 setup through tweaking things in here. And then whenever it's time to configure, you configure inside of GA4. That's how I've been using it, and it's worked like a charm. So just to give you guys a real world example to sink your teeth into, I can do this because the measurement ID goes here. If I were to set up a tag, I would do it on initialization. Do I already have a tag? Yeah, I've got one right here that I did 3 days ago. So I got my stream ID, which I changed the name to the GA4 ID, actually. Maybe not. Let's see what the stream ID is. A quick jog my memory real quick here. Okay, so I can either use the tag ID itself, or I can use the measurement ID. So what would be the difference there? So if I use the tag, I'm going to be connecting and launching the tag, not necessarily my measurement ID. And that might be more crucial than first glance. I'm pretty positive it is, actually. If I launch initialization based on a GA4 property, I'm going to bypass the actual tag, collecting that data and sending it to multiple destinations. So in layman's terms, that means when you get to this screen right here, and we've got BHT tests, and we're connected to GA4, we could also connect this to Google Ads. Let me find, oh, here we go. This is how to do it. So I can combine tags. I spoke about that earlier. It's if I want more than one, or I can change the destination to which these tags go to. So if I click on this, they should be able to, it's not that one there. Maybe it's this one. Interesting. Then we got tag users. That's kind of cool. We got tag coverage. I really like that. I was wondering why they had this. This tag coverage just shows you how much of the website is being covered by it. I wonder if it's, maybe I need higher access in order to do this. Right now, the tag users are Jordan Hill, and that's it. Maybe if I add my data add, maybe that'll do it. Basically, what I'm struggling with right now is I want to just send up BHT's main Google Ads account as a And this can just be an admin, basically. How do I give them higher permissions? Really interesting in the back end here. Adding permissions for this product is not yet supported. Oh, okay. This is definitely interesting. I didn't know that it was going to be this difficult to level up permissions. Here we go. Admin, save. That shouldn't really affect my data stream and what I'm doing there, but go figure. Okay. Show more. Don't want to collect universal analytics events. I don't care about that anymore. Then we got installation. This is if I just wanted to go directly to the source code. We're using Tag Manager to set this part up. Yeah, don't mind me while I stumble through this. So here we go. Oh my gosh, finally. Maybe I was just missing it. I'm glad it's not Snake. Okay, combined with another tag. So let's imagine a situation where I have another tag that's built out in a different property. If I click this and I choose a tag that I have access to, so notice that I have access to a ton of tags. These are including clients, right? I could just combine both of them, or I could combine other test data in one spot. I could combine one tag could feed data into a test environment as well as a production environment. Same tag, different destinations, different use cases, and I wouldn't have to worry about separating the data once it's collected inside of GA4, which is a freaking nightmare. I've done it before. So they just made that way easier for everyone. But then also I can push plus destination, and notice how I have all this going on. So that tag can have a destination that is either a Google Ads property or a Google Analytics property. And it's the same exact tag. Again, this is great for a merchant account as well. I haven't done a whole lot with Merchant Center, Google Merchant Center, but it's possible. So I want to send this tag information to here as well. Current tag, and we're sending it here. Okay. Users on destination will lose read-only Google tag name read-only access to. Okay. I wonder if they're only going to let you do one at a time. That could be interesting. Yeah, something to think about. That's exactly what it's looking like right now. So then if I combine the tags though, I could have the same destination in more than one place. Right now it's looking like I can't do that. So let's just take a look. It's not that property, it's this one. Okay, this is the main BHT property. Go to configure tag, and then we're going to go to the admin section, and we're going to take a look at different places we're sending data to. So as you can see, we've got the main BHT destination ID, and they don't want me to send it here if it's also sending the BHT test. So that's really interesting. That's something to think about. I did not know that, but now you know. So each tag can only send, you can't reuse the destinations where the data is going. But however, I can combine tags. So if I wanted to have BHT offers, well, oof, yeah, this is interesting. So if I'm just, this is what you would do. This is how to fix it. If I have a Google tag just for testing, then I'm going to be limited on capturing here on the tag level, sending over to a test property in GA4. However, if I wanted to combine these tags, that would be fine. I wouldn't lose any data. And the smart thing to do here would be, all right, let me just set up a separate GA4 property on the destination side called BHT test. So that would look like this. I think it's with a capital. Okay, so now this BHT test ID is kind of left out in the cold, unfortunately. However, notice how this is kind of cool. I don't know why it's this way, and I don't know what it's going to mean for the future. I'll figure it out as it, happens. However, there's two different IDs on the brand new Google tag. There's the Google tag ID designated by GT, and then there's the GA4, what we're used to seeing, G-. The problem that I kind of foresee here is I can plug this in, I mean this tag, and maybe it's just going to send, it's going to send to the tag. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. But if I specify in the in Google Tag Manager that I'm sending to a GT like this, so inside of the tag, we can see a GT. Well, yeah, we know that stream ID is a GT. That could be really interesting to send it strictly to a tag that you then go manipulate where the destinations are as time goes on. Maybe I don't want to send it to a certain account. Maybe I want to switch that account. Maybe I want to rebuild my entire GA4 at some point or reconfigure everything. You can do that. And so that kind of opens up the idea of views as well. And I think that's probably why they did it. If you didn't know, Universal Analytics used to have what's called properties and then views. And those views would be different and used for different purposes. Maybe you have a subdomain, or maybe you have different functions for different things that you're doing with multiple domains within your parent-child relationship for the site that you're building out. If that's the case, you could essentially have an entirely different setup under the same property. Now, when GA4 came along, views disappeared completely. So there's only the account level and then just a property that collects, on its own in one spot. When you have multiple data streams, people weren't really using data streams in that way because it gets really messy. And then whenever you're reporting, you only have one property. So I can have 5 data streams, right? Which would look like this. Let's go to the data stream. So here, but I could add multiple data streams in the same property. But when I go to reporting, there's not going to be a differentiation between one data stream and another whenever I'm looking at a report. So I could have a whole bunch of test data mixed in with my production data in the same property. Now, if I use these properties differently and just say GTag is the parent level, and then the different properties have their own designation, I can send information to those destinations for off from there. All right, I feel like I'm talking too much. Cool. Let's see if Microsoft Edge is ready to roll. Let's get this going. Okay, I'm just installing Microsoft Edge on the other screen. I'm gonna run a commercial for y'all.
Are you struggling to pinpoint your target? How to switch from universal analytics? In today's digital world, understanding user behavior is crucial for businesses. That's where Google Analytics steps in. But did you know that there's a significant difference between Universal Analytics and the new Google Analytics 4? Universal Analytics primarily focuses on session-based tracking, providing insights on user behavior during a specific time frame. However, Google Analytics 4 changes the game with its event-driven data model. This approach offers a more in-depth understanding of user interactions across platforms and devices. So, what does this mean for you? By switching to Google Analytics 4, you'll have access to improved data attribution, allowing you to make smarter decisions and optimize your marketing strategies. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Upgrade today.
I'm just getting a Shine Ranker loaded up here. Give me a second. Just had to grab my ID real quick, or my password. Let's see if this works. If I log in, then I'll just switch screens over. Here we go. Cool, we're good. Yeah, I definitely need to learn like the hotkeys for this. Or I could just share my entire screen, I guess. I don't really like that idea though. Like I'm gonna accidentally show you guys something I don't want to show you. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Okie dokie. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and re-authenticate this joint. And then we'll see. Rex fossils. So I've been going pretty hard on trying to figure out if I can do like this whole idea around Blockbuster. Let me see if Zach wants to join. Give me a sec. Go ahead and invite him to the stream. For a bit. They were precious babies. Hey, GA4.com. Fixyourtracking.com. I like fixyourtracking.com more, but I feel like a lot of people can identify with I hate GA4. For reasons I don't even understand, you know. I don't know what this is. What are we downloading? What's happening here? I can do incognito. Let's see. See if this works. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now I've got a incognito Microsoft Edge browser to try to use this damn tool. Shit is getting ridiculous, man. Man, it's wild to me to watch this new tool get built, and I'm gonna wait. And how many problems it has. This goes to show you, man, anybody can do this stuff. It's just not everybody tries it, and just by him having a tool, when it works, it's amazing. I've been having a hard time getting it to consistently spit out content. That's been pretty interesting. Looks like I got granted access to. Oh, that's me. I did that. That's me granting access to myself. Okay. Let's see if Sean's going to pop up on this. I don't think he is, but.
We were just like, that was for those things that are fine. We're just like, if we're including Centra, that's like.
This thing does not look like it wants to work, so we're going to re-authenticate, and I'm not going to do this a million times. I'm going to use this tool one more time. I'm trying to be patient, man. Excuse me. So, appreciate you guys taking a look and being curious with me here. It's how my brain works. I don't really like working on just one thing at any given time. I jump from project to project. So one day, for an hour I'll be creating content, then for another hour I'll be making my changes or experimenting in GA or GTM. So anyways, let's go back. So we're in GTM again. I hope everything I explained around GA4 and how it works and why you would want to add things, I could use the same exact ID and send the information to a test environment as well. So anything I manipulate in the GA4 environment called BHT test is not going to affect what's going on in my production environment. It's not going to affect what's going on in my Google Ads environment. Now, what you would want to do is, if you need to manipulate at the Google tag level, so configuration level, if I'm here and this is firing with configuration settings variable here, if I need to have an entirely different setup here, so let's say visitor login state, and let's go visitor ID, and let's go what else could I do here? That's enough for now. So we're trying to understand and pull information that we will push into the data layer. So we would have data layer information triggering parameters inside of the configuration settings, and then using all that information to load up and have made available before any events start hitting. Okay, that's cool. However, if you wanted to do that, you would do it here. So I could go visitor variable. Now I'm going to show you the power of all this with this one example. If they let me save it, I don't know if they will. I had to fill it out. Now they'll let me save it here. Come on, guys. Visitor settings. Let's do it like this. Oh my gosh, come on. Sometimes you have to, I know you guys probably aren't going to like hearing this, but GTM and GA4 are buggy. They're buggy as hell. It doesn't mean they're not good tools. It just means that they're new. And when things are new, they tend to have bugs that people just did not catch yet. So this is the visitor configuration. So I can have another variable that's called let's do this one based on, I don't know why I would want to have a separate one, but maybe we have like a subdomain that's more for the ecom store. So I could have ecom visitor would be the name of this variable. Essentially, I would want to still have, the same things, visitor ID, right? So we can pull that in based on the variable. However, we also want to see lifetime value, LTV. So this would be an actual variable. I'm not going to sit here and build that out right now, but that's how we would do this. And then maybe we have, what else would you have with ecom? Category interest. So I have a client right now who is in the survival niche. And the problem is their website has recreational stuff as well as survival. So wouldn't I want to know and understand who's browsing the site and what they're more inclined to interact with based on past marketing data and how they've engaged on the site previously. If they're looking at, I don't know, camping stuff, sleeping bags and trinkets, that type of thing, I don't want to send them hardcore bunker survival food ads or coupons and shit like that. Obviously, you can pull and segment and build audiences on the email newsletter side of things, but why not just have this already ready to go? So when they come back, we can pull this information as well. So ecom visitor, this one could fire only the we would have a separate tag. It would be a separate configuration tied to a different subdomain, and we would make that fire if that happens. However, we also could do shared event stuff. So I have this, what's called a checkout variable. I'll show you that in a bit. So this is going to be set up in a similar way. So now we're looking at variables like these. I know it's a lot. I am just trying to show you guys what's available here. So in a purchase event, specifically those are parameters that I will want to pull: item ID, item name, discount code, item brand, category, item list. You can go variant, quantity, price. that pretty much covers it. So everything you see right here is available. In this instance, they did it with the data layer push. I've done that as well. That's like a typical setup. However, once it's pushed into the data layer, we need to, the only reason to push something into the data layer is to then use it for some purpose. Otherwise, you're just collecting data for no reason. You don't really have a use case for it. If you don't have a use case for it, why are you collecting it? And you have to always ask yourself that. With most of my clients so far, what I've done is I've found that they find it valuable whenever there's a strategy element involved. If I'm questioning, why do you want link clicks? What about a link or a button click on your homepage or your blog or your contact page? Why is that valuable? Why are you collecting this thing? And I usually have a solution or a test or an idea in mind for them. In a situation to where I've got an e-com client, I would want to begin checkout and pull all this other information about that product. So a begin checkout situation would be when someone has added to cart. So that's already happened. And you can see those details here. Probably actually see them. Yeah, let's go here. I'll just show you guys. Currency value items. Pretty straightforward. And then we got item parameters that go a little bit deeper. You have to set those up a certain way because they're tucked away into an array. So that's why this looks like that. But in the data layer push, they will be in an array. And then I would have to set up the data layer variables based on that same naming convention, or else they will not map correctly. Anyways, so depending on the event will depend on what I want to pull into the data layer. As I pull those things into the data layer, though, I need to trigger things that need to get sent over to GA4. So if it's in the data layer, it does not necessarily mean that it's going to be inside of Google Analytics 4. The best example I can give you, and the whole reason I'm doing this is to try to make all this stuff more approachable. You guys know that by now. Let's go to Tag Manager. I'm going to show you guys this client site where we have Portrait Masters, and I'm going to show you how they use the visitor logged in state idea. So it looks like this. Give me 1 second. Let me check something. Okay. So I'm on their site right now. I am currently logged in because that's what this is. Yeah. But I want to log out real quick. So give me a sec. I'm gonna log out. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna log in. Okay. So we saw the whole form submit happen, and this happened inside of the login page, and it pushed into the data layer, so you can see it here. Boom. Now notice that there's no tag that was fired. It says none right there. But then when we go to the message, this is data layer push also. On the next page, so each time that you see this geometric shape, it's a new page loading. And in this case, we have a data layer push. We don't have any tags that fired. We're on GTM. No tags fired at all. Open this, boom. We got a couple hits that fired here, and we have a couple of hits, a login event. This is the one that I set up here. This is I believe this is an auto-migrated event, or auto-migrated GA4 property. That's why it's all screwed up. But I'm not here to judge. Anyways, if I open this, you can notice that there's plenty of information that is useful. If I were to want to launch my configuration tag and pull this in, I would have to use a data layer variable in order to access it. So it's one thing to make it available in the data layer. It's another thing to actually use this in some way, shape, or form. The thing that I really like personally is visitor username and visitor ID. So now I can immediately tag traffic for what it is. It's a also type is probably really good. These two, and then these two are my favorites. I could probably attach email or the hash email to each one of these, but I just don't know from a compliance standpoint how much I'd be rolling the dice there. Anyways, if I've got username, visitor ID, logged in state, and visitor type, so it says customer here because they're logged in. If they were not logged in, it would say visitor, or it would say like viewer. I think it's visitors, the naming that we used. Anyways, what I'm trying to make is if I go and make a tag at this point, I don't know if they have the new tag set in here yet. They do. So if I wanted to, I could create a tag. A tag would look like, so I would put this here or some kind of form of it. But then a configuration tag could look something like this. So each and every time that this fires, I could have all that information available. So visitor login state. Oops. Here. I'm not going to go like super hard on formatting this exactly how I personally would do it. Because that's not important. More so, I just want you guys to understand not proof of concept, but just the concept itself. This is how it could look. And, you know, obviously some clients want me to go as deep as I possibly can. Those are the ones that I go for. Some clients really don't want all this extra. So then whatever the answer is for this will be here. And so I could just simply say, let's say answer equal. Again, this is just for illustration or illustrative purposes, but it would look like that. And then if I save this, test config visitor info. So looky there. What's interesting about that is each time that this happens, each time that this tag fires, it has all that information is going to come with it. Even in a situation to where there's no information to be had, I at least have this in as a placeholder. It's going to come back as, you know, NA or undefined if there's no info there, obviously. However, if there is info there, I'll catch it, because what you might already know, or you probably already know I'm going here if you're familiar, having this data layer push at the very beginning of the page essentially being called before consent initialization, container load, DOM ready, or window loaded. This is made available to the data layer. So now my job is to load the configuration tag upon initialization, upon DOM ready, upon window loaded. The earlier I get this in, the earlier I'll have access to that information for like a GA4 event or anything that would come off of the G tag firing. Okay. That's a lot, I know. But it's dope and it's super useful. because not only do I use that as soon as they log in, I can see what courses they actually interact with. I can see if they buy additional things. I can identify a situation where I have what's called a super fan. If you guys have ever heard of anything like that, that's the type of person who buys products from you just because it's you, essentially, and they turn into a someone that you can kind of count on to always shout out your brand, interact with your brand, buy from your brand. They're kind of like a they're super fan. There's Apple is great at that. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. That's there. Make sure it's showing. Okay. Excuse me. Just as important and just as interesting is I can set up shared event settings. So these are events that would happen. So I can go with the event setting, what would I want to pass as well? Something specific to the event itself, I could do. I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit. I might want to have so user related stuff. I probably would shy further away from. However, I'll get back to you guys and think about this a little bit further so that I know exactly how I would use it. You can go user property information. There's just a lot to do here. Let's click on learn more and let's learn together. Let's see how to use the events settings variable. Predefined parameters. So if I wanted to pull any of this information in, I could do it. And you'll see like the little check mark. So content group is interesting. I have a hard time really differentiating that versus this. So I'll show you. So content group is based on how you're interacting with content, but it's also, in my mind, that could be a configuration situation, but this is a known parameter, so you'll see a check mark. That's one of the big keys here, which I think is pretty dope. Content type, we can jump over and do that. That looks like this. So if I just wanted to see what that was based on the event itself, that would be kind of interesting and probably smart to know that. Coupon is going to be really useful in coupon and discount will be useful in e-commerce applications, obviously. Items, payment type, score. This could be good for and maybe a sneaky way to score people who are coming over from your CRM. So if you have someone where you have their visitor ID and you also know how often they interact with your brand and what you would score them. Let's imagine that we save this test event variable. Okay, that's saved. So let's go back here. And if I wonder if I can configure it from here. Yeah, I can. Cool. So I don't think that this check mark thing works the same here. Or maybe it's not working because this is seen as an event variable only. Yeah, that's actually super useful. So if your parameters are going to map correctly based on how they are meant to be used, based on the GA documentation, you're going to see a check mark in the event parameter naming section. Now, I don't know if that's also going to be true with the value. And I don't know how to set these things necessarily yet. but that's why I'm here. You guys can watch me do this. Post score, event, measure scores in games. Okay. A couple of different use cases. Send to. That seems pretty interesting. I don't know how this works, but that seems pretty interesting. Send to, where you would be able to specify which Google tag destination ID you would send this to. Maybe certain events you can send certain places. And then you don't even have to manipulate on the GA4 in the settings area. That could be interesting. This is cool. User data. You can opt out immediately. I think my camera just went off. That's fun. 1 second. All right. Just like that, I'm back. All right, cool. Commercial break.
Are you struggling to pinpoint your target audience for your ads? Look no further, as Google Analytics 4 is here to save the day. With this powerful tool, you can build laser-focused audiences based on your website visitors' behavior. Imagine having the ability to group your audience by their interests, browsing habits, and demographics. With Google Analytics 4, you can do just that. You can even create audiences based on specific events or actions taken on your website. So why wait? Harness the power of Google Analytics 4 today and start creating highly targeted audiences for your ads.
Okay, where was I? All right, so user data, you can set this to null if you don't want to. It's basically to opt out of automatic user provided data collection. If someone wanted to do that, let's say that they're using a consent management situation. So they say, hey, I accept certain cookies. I don't want you to use user provided data, blah, blah, blah. We could, based on that answer, set this parameter to pull in certain events, pull in user provided data based on the event that that person's taking, based on the action that that person's taking. So you can get super nuanced. You can use it sometimes and use it other times, not use it other times. Value, monetary value, this is cool. Predictive audiences, this is good for purchasing, awesome. Virtual currency name, etc. So there's plenty to deal with here. So these are all valid parameters for the event settings. So I just answered my own question. Cool. Hopefully that helps. Let's see. So this is just for the event parameters settings. So this is what we have access to right now today. We're just using the things that are recommended. I would imagine that we can also put in some custom stuff but I'm not going to do that just yet. We'll play with that in a little bit. You can redact your ads data. So ad click identifiers like GCLID. Facebook has a ID as well. That's kind of cool. Add personalization signals if you wanted to disable that or enable that, depending on user preferences. I wonder why they designed this column like this. This is horrible. It makes it hard to navigate. Allow Google signals, you can do that. Interest groups, campaign content, differentiate ads and links. That's kind of cool. That's like Google optimized territory. I really like this. So now, obviously UTM parameters are a quick way to get information for a campaign name, campaign UTM source. What are some of the other popular UTMs? Let's just look them up. I mean, let's see. There we go. Campaign source, campaign medium, campaign name, campaign content, and campaign term. I never thought that term was a good idea for a UTM parameter. Sue me. I always thought it was kind of weird to use that. Maybe I don't understand the use case, but for me, it never really made a whole bunch of sense. I do like affiliate ID. I'm about to build an affiliate program, Lord willing, with an undisclosed client. But if they let me build the network, I'm going to essentially build it on top of what GA4 can already do. So that could be a really cool project, a lot of fun, probably pretty lucrative as well, I would imagine. UTM content. So this is a good example of how UTMs can be used. Yeah, I'm actually going to save this. I like to save stuff like this when I come across it for my team to build graphics and everything. Let me figure out how to get it over to where it needs to go. It's going to be in examples. I'm not here. New requests. Sorry, you guys can't see my screen right now, probably. That's fine. Let's run a commercial.
Here's the GA4's data retention policy, what you need to know. Google Analytics 4 is replacing Universal Analytics very soon. Data retention controls allow you to set the amount of time user-level and event-level data is stored before it is deleted. GA4 only offers two options for data retention, 2 months or more. The reset on new activity setting in GA4 resets the retention period of the user identifier with each new event from that user. To update your data retention controls in GA4, log in and navigate to the data settings and data retention section in the admin panel.
Okay, so I've got this moved over for UTM stuff. Okay, so imagine being able to do campaign medium, campaign content, campaign source, campaign name, which is everything that's here. So if you, oh man, this is super dope. So if if I set this parameter for the event, again, this is, let me make sure this is an event parameter. This is for the configuration settings, actually. So, So what I'm contemplating now is I could add all these things to the configuration settings variable in the naming section, but for the section for the value, right? Default value undefined is what we're seeing here. Imagine I had a variable in that place that would change based on what's pushed into the data layer. And so now I just need to solve for one thing instead of multiple things. So I don't have to really worry about UTMs. UTMs will naturally be used where this configuration tag does not exist, if that's a situation. But otherwise, the parameter value will be reliant upon what's made available inside of the data layer. Again, as soon as the page loads, that data layer, if it's rich enough, can inform every other domino that gets knocked over in the conversion tracking setup, including campaign source, campaign term, client ID, campaign name. We can go campaign ID, the content type, and a lot of other things going on, from cookie domain to updating the cookies. So cookie update here. We got customer lifetime value that's made available. These are all recommended, not recommended, but standard parameters for this particular configuration settings variable. Brand new. They just rolled this out. This just came out maybe 2 weeks ago. So I'm extremely excited to play around with this, see how dope I can get with using the data layer to essentially manipulate this configuration variable to my liking. The fact that this note is here where it says setting this value will override the UTM source query parameter is awesome to me and beautiful, because what you're going to notice and what you'll run into is the reason people want to use UTM parameters is they want to accurately track where the traffic is coming from. They really want to know. The problem, 9 times out of 10, is that most companies don't have a really tight lid on what people can put into each URL that they set up. So if you've played with UTMs before, you know that it can be a very manual process. There's a couple of software companies out there like UTM.io that allow you to set UTM parameters based on user access level, and then you have basically a bucket to choose from. So there's only a certain names that you can actually choose for that campaign or for that content or for that source medium. Anything that you would use as a UTM value is going to be limited. So what's even more powerful here is I don't even have to fight with people as far as their behavior goes on the marketing department, saying, hey, we have to learn this new software so that we can stay organized with all the UTMs. Instead, if I speak directly to, whoever's in charge of these things, and they say, hey, we need to be organized and this is what we wanted to show up, they give me that list. I can then, using a variable, using data layer push, limit the amount of iteration that we would have for each one of these categories to fit the need of the client. Fucking amazing. Excuse my French. It's really good though. This is really good. Okay, so imagine, and I thought about this yesterday. I don't want to overdo it with some of the realizations I'm getting here, but yesterday I showed off a situation with Portrait Masters. So let me save this so I can get to it. I think it's, yeah, I'm in the right place. So let's call this example, and we'll do this off of the initialization trigger, and I'll save that. Save. Okay, fine. We're good. I didn't want to... What just happened? That was weird. Yeah, that was mad weird. Okay. Anyways, I did that to show you guys this. I have a lookup table situation, and I ended up using a lookup table for my lookup table. So imagine a situation where click text has to equal watch module, which is pretty straightforward. And the output for that is a built-in variable called page path. So I have the page path, and it's going to come into a input variable on a different lookup table. So that answer that I just described, this is all math. It's just an equation. It's awesome. So here, that answer from the previous variable I just showed you will land here. Well, it'll land here, and then I'll look into the lookup table. It looks it up. So I can have, I think, up to 50 rows in each one. I can't remember, but plenty. So a situation like this, I'm pulling this information in and spitting this out. Or someone goes into a module, they click the button to watch a certain video. This is what happens. View content _, business fashion photography. So I know exactly what video they're watching. And yeah, I just know exactly what video they're watching, which is great. Because I can manipulate further from here. I can go into, did they start it? Did they pause it? Did they scroll? Did they watch the whole thing? Did they watch only 25% of it? Whatever. This is all to essentially gauge the user's interest. Mind you, this is someone who's already bought into our system. So they've already purchased the course. I want to figure out, are they going to fly through this course? Is this course the type that people buy it and then it sits on the shelf? Is this the type of course where people are cruising along and then they get to a spot to where they just stop and they lose interest? Wouldn't it be valuable to be able to, as a business who's serving course creators, go to the course creator and say, hey, a lot of people are buying your course. You've got the most popular one on our site, or whatever, 5th popular, most popular, whatever the case may be. But when people get to module number 5, they don't finish from that spot. Everybody gets stuck and they stop. Wouldn't it be great to be able to tell, hey, you need to go redo this in order to hopefully entice more people to complete it? All right, whatever. Useful in my eyes. So this is a double lookup table is really the point. Now, why does this matter, Jordan? Well, it matters because if I use server container URL, for me, I use server-side tagging. So I have blank.bluehighlightedtext.com. And that blank is the subdomain for the server container. the reason I'm using a subdomain is to maintain the first party cookie context. And I could essentially pull in the name of my container whenever the configuration tag is loading. Oh, this shit is nerdy. It's so extreme. Let me show you where it gets interesting for me. If you go to, is it this one? Where it just says GA4 tag? I mean, it could be. And it could be based on this variable, this configuration variable. So there used to be, I wonder how that's going to work in the future. Maybe it knows if you have a server side set up or not. I'm going to just share it with you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. So I have a server-side situation here. If I go to Google Analytics, and then I go here, it's got a where is it? Maybe not. Just one moment. Here we go. We're live here. This is the one. I was wondering why I didn't have hardly any events going on here. All right. So we look up the ID. This is for that. But then there used to be like a little toggle to see if I wanted to send information to the server-side container or not. I'm wondering how that's going to work in the future. That's why I like to do this live. Okay, so you've got clients, you got transformations, I got tags, triggers, some variables, some other stuff going on here. I wonder how any of this changes now. It doesn't look like I have, oh, okay, I don't have permissions. Let's play around a little bit, huh? Why not? This is my web container, so I could set that. I don't know why I would want to, but we got more going on now. Definitely more tags available inside the server side that just weren't there. Different triggers, custom events, pages, other custom stuff. Still underbuilt, largely underbuilt. Let me see this. Interesting. I just don't know why I would want to only serve my GTM JavaScript from my server only. maybe it's being flagged by the browser, and maybe there's like some ad blocker stuff going on. That is possible. Okay, so in the live version, let's see. There's something going on with configuration. Yeah, that's totally different, man. It's not even showing up as a possibility anymore. So they used to have a toggle where you get to choose if you're sending to your server side or not. Looks like I'm gonna have to build this out completely again to get it figured out. That's interesting. Okay, so what I was getting at is server container URL can be used as a variable where I would be able to pull and discover that based on which tag fires. So I could have a certain configuration tag fire, and inside of that configuration tag, this URL is a certain way, and a different configuration tag, a different server will receive that information, and that could be really powerful. I don't know why you would want to have like multiple server-side situations set up, but in the case that you did, this is one way to get the most out of that type of a complex setup. Awesome. Pretty cool shit, man. Let's look at this cookie update. Update the cookies expiration to be most relevant for the visitor. This could come in really handy for returning users, situations like that. I don't really have a use case for Merchant Center itself, but then obviously with ads and things, pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's a repeat customer. That's dope. Some properties. All this is pretty interesting stuff, y'all. All right, I do have 1 o'clock, so I've got to get going. But appreciate you guys taking the time to see what I had going on, and I'll be back with more real soon. All right, peace.